In today's episode of The Founder Ride, Randy talks about Beyond the Ego, building something bigger than yourself.
Hello, I'm Randy Gerber, and welcome to The Founder Ride. Today's topic is building a business bigger than yourself, and where does your ego fit in that equation? The reality is, when most people found a business, start a business, they start it for a reason that's pure. And it could be an idea, it could be a reaction to something else, could be they bought into another company, whatever the case may be. But the reality is, if you grow the business, oftentimes in the beginning, the entrepreneur's identity is wrapped up in that business. Their ego is wrapped up in their business. It's one of the things that we talk about quite a bit with people, even at their exit, that what are you going to do after you've sold your business? Businesses that really can grow and can scale and can deliver to their customers and their clients are mission-centric versus entrepreneur-centric or founder-centric. And you have to really understand that. So you've heard me say this before in other podcasts. You need to first and foremost have a values-based business. What is it that you actually do? And there has to be a direct correlation to what is the desired outcome to your customer? What is the desired outcome to your client? And if you really understand that, as you're scaling your business, you realize how quickly your role has to change. And your role has to go from being an employee owner to an investor owner that inspires the business. Oftentimes, I find myself talking to entrepreneurs around what ends up happening in your business, unless you own a really technical company where you're the technical expert, and that's a different topic, but unless you're that unique exception, you end up becoming a coach in your business where you're really helping people be better leaders themselves, helping people be better employees, and deliver on the mission of the business. You're naturally incentivized with your pocketbook because you're the shareholder or the primary shareholder, and that's important. Your ego, however, is the big piece that has to adjust as time goes on. Because what will happen if you're successful, you'll become less relevant to the business day to day. One of the things that I've had several times happen over the years with our clients is that entrepreneur come into our office and they're frustrated. Like, I walked through the factory today, I walked through the warehouse today, and people didn't even know who I was. And that's because the business got so big, it's grown past them. They know who their boss is, their boss's boss, but they may not know the founder owner. And that's a good thing when it's all said and done. So it's be aware of where your ego is in this journey. Be aware what the needs of the business are from the standpoint of transitioning from employee owner to investment owner. I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but it does impact your home life as well too, because you get so much feedback and satisfaction from your business. As you get less and less feedback from your business and people needing you, you're going to seek that somewhere else because you're still wired to want that. You're still wired to need that attention. And the obvious places is coming from home and your friends. So it's a topic that doesn't get talked about a lot because it's an intimate topic. It's a vulnerable topic. And it's a really important topic. It's one that you have to, as uncomfortable as it is, engage, embrace, and plan for it. I know I said this earlier in a quick quip. When you go to sell your business, this is the most difficult part because sometimes the buyer doesn't want anything to do with you. Sometimes the buyer absolutely needs you. And you really don't know until you know. In other words, you don't know until the transaction's already happened. And at that point in time, it's too late. So we've had lots of clients over the years, even those that prepare themselves still struggle because it's such a drastic change in your life. And that's normal. You just have to find a new purpose, a new reason for what fills your bucket, what fills your cup, because you're wired to be cup half full naturally already, and just find something else that's productive and positive to do that. So an important topic, again, soft, mushy topic, and it's one that the more you think about it, the more you prepare yourself for it, the better off you're going to be, the better off your family's going to be, and the better off your customers and clients, and certainly your team as well. So feel free to reach out and ask any questions, and have a good day. Thank you for listening to The Founder Ride.
We're building something special in Columbus for entrepreneurs. To learn more, please visit www.founderfarm.com.